Syria is in danger of becoming a Christian-free zone, warns an Orthodox deacon. From Die Welt, Germany, Frankfurt, June 20, 2026. Are the new Syrian rulers pursuing an Islamization of the hitherto multi-religious and multicultural country? Videos are already circulating in which non-Sunnis are vilified as unclean pigs, warns an Orthodox deacon. Amill Gorgis, who serves as a deacon in the Syriac Orthodox Church in Berlin, has drawn attention to the plight of minorities in Syria. "We are deeply concerned that Syria will become a Christian-free zone," Gorgis told the Evangelical Press Service, EPD, on the sidelines of an event hosted by the Protestant Center for Ecumenism in Frankfurt am Main. The new rulers under interim President Ahmed al-Sharaa are pursuing the Islamization of the previously multi-religious and multicultural country. The Syrian government has mandated the segregation of women and men in schools, universities, and on public transportation. In the courts, Islamic clerics have replaced legal judges as presiding judges. The previously regular dialogues between leading Islamic clerics and bishops have ceased. Instead, sermons denigrating those of different beliefs and opinions are broadcast from mosque loudspeakers. Islamic religious instruction in schools teaches that Christians and Jews are struck by God, crosses destroyed, bells damaged. The new rulers are not bridge builders. They emphasize the divisions between religions and express contempt for those who think differently, said Gorgis, a trained electrical engineer. Videos are now circulating in Syria in which non-Sunnis are vilified as unclean pigs. The step from denigration to action is not a large one, Gorgis warned. Unlike the Alawites and Druze, who suffered massacres after the takeover in Syria, Christians have so far only experienced isolated instances of physical violence. However, there are Muslims who conduct aggressive proselytizing in Christian villages, destroying crosses or damaging church bells. Radicals are making Christians feel unwelcome in Syria, Gorgis said. Parents are wondering whether their children still have a future in the country. The majority of Christians were expelled or fled during the Civil War. In 1970, the approximately 2 million Christians still made up 18% of Syria's population. Today, at most 350,000 Christians remain in the country, representing less than 2% of the population. The social mosaic of Syria, with its diversity of religions, peoples, and cultures, is under threat, said Gorgis, who has translated books on Syriac Orthodox liturgy and history from Aramaic into German. However, schools and hospitals run by the churches still exist. They are open to everyone and serve as bridges between different population groups. Many businesses are facing closure, however, as the middle class that finances them has been impoverished after 13 years of civil war. Support from Europe is vital for their survival, Gorgis emphasized. Syria was a Christian country before it was conquered by Islam. It began with Paul's Damascus experience. The Syriac Church is 2,000 years old and uses a language in which Jesus also spoke.
This is men's fragrance. Yeah. This is no. It's the best fragrance. Come here, man.
I have more here, sir.
Okay. So what we'll do is just take that, Joe, put it in, and then the other one is for your wife. How many wives? You guys, I never know, right? I never know.
أنا أرسلت له هدايا فيها شيء أثري قديم، أول أبجدية صارت في التاريخ، أول ختم أيضا صار في التاريخ، أول نوتة موسيقية أيضا، أول تعريف الجمهورية أيضا صارت في العالم.
That was made in the world.
Very good.
هي نسخة عن أشياء أثرية موجودة من أصولها في الهدية للسيدة الأولى كم زوجها.
Very good. Right now, one.
Are you in touch with Christians in Syria at all right now?
Yes, I am. And I have lots of Syrians in my parish and Palestinians, and they're both in great sorrow. You know, Syria, when I visited Syria in 2010, I was hosted by a wonderful metropolitan who was in the southern part of Syria. It was just before the civil war broke out, just before the jihadis and ISIS really started ransacking the country. At that time, there were about 20 million Syrians and 2 million were Christians. That's only 10% of the population. But we have ancient culture there, ancient churches that go all the way back to the very beginning of the Christian faith. I traveled in all of the bishoprics of Syria, all the way up to the Turkish border. We even went across the Turkish border into what is ancient Antioch, which is where Christians were first called Christians, right? This is Acts chapter 11. The first place we actually were called Christians was in the greatest of the Roman cities in the east, the place where the emperor had his palace in the east, the place where he would launch all his Persian wars from the east. This was Paul's missionary hub. If you read the Acts of the Apostles, this is the place that he launched his greatest missionary endeavors, his great 4 missionary journeys. That whole area used to be the heartbeat of the Patriarchate of Antioch, one of the 5 great patriarchates, together with Rome, Alexandria, Jerusalem, Antioch. These are like the core of first millennium Christianity. Once the war broke out, Christians have been, what shall I say, brutally decimated. The political power at that time, and for
The war recently. The war.
Yeah, 2011.
And
yeah.
which, just for folks listening, what is that war?
Yeah, this is the outbreak of what we would know as the successors to Al-Qaeda, what are called ISIS. These are Sunni jihadis who view the murder of Christians who resist conversion to Islam as an imperative. I used to teach a class at the local Christian university called Cal Baptist in my town, called The Cross and the Crescent, the history of Christian-Muslim relations. When I was teaching that class, I read through the Quran many times in preparation for class. And I noted how many direct commands to violence Muhammad gave. My count, 123. 123 explicit commands to do violence to those who resisted the advance of Islam, and particularly to Christians, including details on how to kill us. Stab them in the neck. I mean, this is one of his commands. It's not a coincidence that many people, for instance, in England, who have suffered Islamic violence, have been stabbed in the neck. People go, oh, they got stabbed in the neck because the person was crazy. Actually, he was just following Muhammad's commandments.